Welcome back. We are talking $1 million careers. As always, I've got my really good friend Rob Houghton with me. Rob's up in Northern Virginia, out in West Winchester, Virginia, and he is a number one recruiter in the Washington D.C. area for the insurance industry. Rob and I have been good friends for a long time, and he's got some great stories to tell, both from his recruiting practice and go listen to his podcasts online as well. Rob Houghton. He talks about some of his time training special forces in the military and a lot of good things. So, hey, Rob, just great to have you back again.
Yeah, thanks, Craig. It's always great to see you, man.
So let's talk about this. I was doing a podcast last week with Mike, call sign Nasty Manazir. And Nasty became, and I knew Nasty. We flew together in the same air wing. He was a lieutenant commander flying F-14s. And I was just a young lieutenant on the other side of the squad, the other side of the air wing and Hawkeyes. But we became friends. We lost touch for a long time, and we reconnected. And we did a podcast. And I said, "Hey, look, you became a 2-star admiral. You became a ship's captain, an aircraft carrier CO, commanding officer. It's a very rare, exclusive club. You became a very accomplished fighter pilot. How'd you get there?"
Yeah.
And he started out, he goes, "It's interesting." He says, "The day I got to Pensacola, on my helmet, I had an F-14 sticker." He put an F-14 sticker on his helmet, which I'm sure won him no fans from the instructors. But he said, "I knew exactly what I wanted to do, and that was fly F-14s. And I did everything I could to get to fly F-14s to the point where I went out and got my private pilot's license. And in Pensacola, I would go fly the routes on the weekend that I knew we'd be flying in flight school. And I learned the airfields. And it was all because I had every time I looked at this sticker on my helmet, I knew it was F-14s I wanted to go fly, and I wasn't going to let anything hold me back."
Yeah, cool, man.
And I like that. I like that mentality.
Yeah.
How about you?
Yeah,
you ever start with the end in mind?
Yeah, to build a $1 million career, which is what we talk about, you've got to figure out where do I want to end up and what is the finishing line. And to me, it's always been very simple. I've lived by this creed. You got to figure out what are my skills and personality. Mm-hmm. Figure out what's my experience, what have I done in the past, and what are my interests, what's my passion. If you can figure out based upon those three things, skills, experience, and interest, you really put some thought on it, you reflect upon it, that's where you want to end up. And after that, it's just implementation. For instance, with salespeople, okay? It's all about connecting with people. That's a skill, right? If you're extroverted, right? If you have some experience, maybe working a part-time sales job and you really like it. And then you have to be motivated to make money. Probably got to be a little bit selfish. That's a salesperson. However, on the other side of the house, if you want to be an account manager, a support person, what's that like? Okay, your skills, detailed, organized, analytical, okay? You're probably an introvert. And in terms of your interest, you probably want to be more service-oriented. You want to help people. You want to help people solve problems. That's how I look at it in the insurance sector in terms of $1 million career.
I think what I've seen is over the years, people go pick up shiny objects. I'll just give you, Maddie, my daughter.
Yeah.
Really proud of her. She just accepted a job since she was 5 years old. She wanted to be an ER nurse. She's graduating from college in May. She just got an offer to be an ER. She just accepted a job offer to become an ER nurse at Novant Health in Wilmington, North Carolina. Her eye was always on that prize.
Right, exactly.
I met a guy a long time ago, and this happened a lot. I met a guy in Oklahoma. I was at a friend of mine's getting out of the Air Force party. And I met a guy who had gone through flight school, but failed out. And I asked him, why'd you fail out? And he said, I met some girl halfway through, and you know the rest of the story.
Yeah.
Shiny, yeah. And then it was like, well, I got distracted. I started thinking about other things.
Yeah.
I go, do you regret it? He's like, yeah, I regret it. Relationship didn't last lasted a couple months. Yeah, maybe, whatever. But it lasted long enough to take his eye off the ball and, move on. So I think a lot of the thing about keeping the end in mind is understanding where you want to go and keeping that laser focus.
And you know what drives me crazy? And like these, if I see one more professional athlete say this, I'm going to throw up. Because here's the line you get. I mean, you know what the line is, right? After a game, right? Or before a game. Hey, what's going through your mind? What do you think about blah, blah, blah? The canned answer is always, you got to live in the moment, right? Mm-hmm. I can't worry about stuff I can't control. Mm-hmm. How many times have we heard people say this? I can't worry about things I can't control. I'm in the moment. I'm just thinking about what I'm doing now. Wrong answer, okay?
Right.
You have to be reflecting upon the past, and you have to be at least contemplating the future. How could you not do that? I mean, think about it. Exactly what you're talking about. You have to have the end in mind, because if you don't have the end in mind, you're going nowhere, man. Yep. You're just going to live a series of days. Sure, you may have a lot of fun because I'm going to have fun today, right? But 10, 15 years from now, you're in the same place because you haven't started on that journey to that finishing line. That's why I tell my people, when I interview them, where do you want to end up? What would the perfect job opportunity look to you? Where do you want to be in 2, 3, 4, 5 years? If they can't answer that question, I'm probably not interested.
Yeah.
When a guy comes to me and says, hey, Rob, I saw your ad on LinkedIn or something for a sales producer in insurance, right? I go, okay, great. Wait, do you want to be a sales guy? Yeah. Oh, yeah. The first question I ask him, what motivates you to be a salesperson? Mm-hmm. If I don't hear, I want to make a lot of money, that ain't the guy. I had a guy one time, he looked the part, had a suit on, great degree, was great. He established rapport. Mm-hmm. He was able to connect. I said, do you want to be a big sales guy, right? With one of my biggest clients, he goes, oh, yeah, I want to be a big sales guy. Why do you want to do it? I mean, why do you want to do all that work, all that rejection, man? Because you're hunting for big fish out there. And his answer was, because I want to serve people. I want to help people. Yep. And you are not the right guy, man. You should be an account manager.
Yep.
So living in the moment, man.
I got bounced from I got bounced in my early 30s. Look, age and wisdom. I got bounced out of an interview. It was with GE Capital, of all things. And I got bounced out of an interview. Because the guy says, what do you want? And you give the same, the standard bullshit answer. I want a successful career. I want to be, yeah. The guy goes, you're right. He's like, get out of here. Yeah. All we want is people who want to make a lot of money.
Exactly. Right.
That's all we want is people who want to make. I'm like, ooh, okay. He changed my thinking.
Exactly.
He changed my thinking. And then I think about a CEO that I talked to, this guy 14, 15 years ago. I had this conversation with a CEO. And this is how I live my life. And this is what I teach kids now or talk to people about. I go, if you can't make me a lot of money or you can't save me a lot of money, you're overhead. You have no need to the business. So all the people that are looking for balance in their life, they want their employer. The flip side of look, every nickel has two coins.
Yeah.
The employer just wants somebody who can make them money or save her money. The employee wants balance. Yeah. And it's like, hey, look, if you can make me a lot of money in 3 days, I'll give you 4 days off. If you could save me a lot of money in 3 days, I'll give you, you can have as much balance in your life as you want. Just save me some money or make me some money and I'll pay you $1 million. Yeah. It's
exactly right. You got to have the end in mind. It's like, Would you go, if you bought a new car, if you bought a Cadillac convertible on a Sunday afternoon with the top down and you want to drive around the country, are you just going to drive around, just going nowhere with your family? You're going to have a destination. You're going to have a roadmap.
Right. I mean, that's the whole thing. It's the, and I think this is the, look, no pro athlete made it to the pros thinking about it along the way. They had a goal. They had a destiny. I mean, look, there's a lot of skill. Yeah, there's a lot of natural skill involved, but the mental acuity to become a pro, is big. Patrick Mahomes versus Arizona Cardinals quarterback. What's his name? Kyler Murray.
Yeah.
Mahomes spends all day long watching films.
Right.
And he will sit in a room and watch films all day long while Kyler Murray wants to play video games.
Yeah, Kyler Murray watches films too, but they're video films.
But they're video games. They're just video. Yeah, and that was a big thing between him and Kingsbury. Kingsbury wanted him to, become more of a student of the game.
Yeah.
And Murray didn't want to protect. Now Mahomes will become he already is Hall of Fame quarterback. Yeah. Kyler Murray will go off into the sunset of he was an okay quarterback.
Hey, by the way, do you think Mahomes was really hurt? Because I was watching a game last night, and my wife, who's an astute observer, is watching him limp around, right, from the sidelines of the huddle. And then there were like 3 plays that he ran, and he ran completely full speed without a limp. I mean, just as a non-football fan, she was like, what are these guys putting on, like some Michael Jordan acting job or something? Because this guy can obviously run fast, but when the camera's on him, he's like limping like he can hardly walk. And like, of course, the announcers were just eating it up.
I think he was hurt, but I think chemicals. Yeah, I think some chemicals.
It's crazy. Yeah. No, I mean, like, how could a guy limp and then he's running at full speed?
I don't know. It's like, these guys are amazing to me. But anyway, I think so. Coming back to the subject, it's like one of those things where I want to be a business owner. Okay. What are you learning to become a business owner? You can't really teach entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
But there are skills that people learn along the way, which is a laser focus.
Yeah.
You want to be a CEO. Okay. Why do you want to be a CEO, and what are you doing to get there? Here are the kind of the gates, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? I'll give you a military example. I usually like to throw one of these out. So I go down to Fort Polk or Fort Campbell or some one of these places, and I'd be instructing these young Green Berets, U.S. Special Forces. A lot of times I'd ask these guys, usually the first question, I'd show up, right? Why do you guys do this anyways? I mean, I'm like, why do you guys go through all this? I'm just curious, like, why do you do it, And to be a show of hands, at first people would be very resistant. And then I'd say, come on, I need some feedback. Why do you do it? And then I'd hear because of 9/11. Okay. I'd hear because I want to be a patriot.
No.
Okay. And then I'd hear that there's a whole 20% of the people, well, my dad was in special forces or my uncle was a SEAL or my dad was a Marine or, because their daddy did it or their mommy did it, right? And I would think to myself, no, that ain't right. And I remember one time this guy raises his hand who ended up being like truly the best of the best. And this guy, without even thinking, stands up and he says, sir, from the time I was 5 years old, I knew I wanted to be a soldier. I knew I wanted to be a special operator. I knew I wanted to be a field guy. I knew I never wanted to be an officer. I wanted to be the guy in the foxhole, just kicking ass and taking names later. I go, really? He goes, I realized that from the time I was a kid, everything I did up until now was in preparation for this particular mission. That's why I do it. And I thought to myself, damn, that's why this guy is the best of the best.
That's it.
Because he knows, he knew what he wanted from a very early age. Yeah.
But you think about the people, triathletes. Think about the people who do Ironmans. I can't do an Ironman. I'm in great shape. I have no desire to do an Ironman.
Right, exactly.
Okay, yeah, I have no desire to do one.
Yeah.
So I don't train for them. I like CrossFit. But I look at the Ironman athletes, it's what, 2.5 mile swim, 100 whatever bike ride. And oh, by the way, then I'm going to run a marathon. Yeah. I'm like, okay, but they train for it. They understand they want to get through it. They want to get through it with a certain time, and they train for it.
Right.
And they quite frankly, I think the one thing they do too is they punch above their weight. When I talk about punching above their weight, every day they're getting better. Every day they're like, why can't I be that person? Why can't I do that?
Right. Exactly.
And, that's the goal. It's like, hey, look, if you want to, $1 million career, it's punching above your weight, understanding where you want to be, and, having a laser focus to get there.
It's also gaining control of your life too, because if you have your own goal in mind, it's just you and the goal at that point. You don't have to worry about a lot of other things,
Yeah. And I get it, but and control of your own life is, look, that's easier said than done. Marriage, kids, single parents. I look at a lot of ladies out there, single moms.
Yeah.
And I got nothing but admiration for them, because their life is, it's the minute they wake up in the morning, they're on. They take care of the kids, they go to work. But I got to tell you what, some of those single moms that I know they're killers. They're drivers.
Yeah, man.
And they like, all right. So that's cool. Hey, how do people get a hold of you, Rob?
Rob at mrfairfax.com. It's in the bottom left of the screen. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm all over the place. I do podcasts, YouTubes. I love talking to people, love interacting. Call me anytime. I specialize in the insurance business, Maryland, Virginia, Washington, D.C. Happy to help anyone. And your blogs are awesome. I read them on LinkedIn all the time. I think they're well written. Thanks, man. Yeah. Cool. I appreciate it. Yeah. Thanks for coming on. All right, Craig. Talk soon. See you, man. I hope you enjoyed the latest edition of the Aerospace Executive Podcast. You can reach out to me directly, Craig at NorthstarESG.com, or check us out at www.northstaresg.com. You can subscribe to this podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, Podbean, or on YouTube. Just do a search for Aerospace Executive Podcast. Thanks again. I'm Craig Pickett.